Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to the SolarFit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher back with you this morning, along with Mr.
Bob Harrington.
Mr. Bob Harrington. He's our business development expert from Palm Coast, Florida. And you have to, excuse me, folks, as I'm sitting across from Bob, and it just makes me laugh every time we do it. We have so much fun. It's probably criminal, but we're not going to turn ourselves in. Anyway, I wanted to give a shout-out to our friends at Daytona Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram for their loyal sponsorship. Particularly to our driver, Mr. Daniel Dye, competing full-time in the Xfinity Series, driving the number 10 Colleague Chevrolet. Well, this last week, where were we? We were in Sonoma, California for the road course, and unfortunately, second and third gear went out. Well, if you ever race on a road course, you know that that's not necessarily a good thing, right? So, not the best finish, but this week, we're headed up to Dover, Delaware, and Daniel will be driving with the Race to Stop Suicide and the SolarFit colors across America to support a mission we're very, very passionate about. Anyway, I want to introduce a very good friend of ours and one of our customers, Mr. Bruce Tustin. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. So you're from up in the Palm Coast area too, right?
Yeah, I live in Palm Coast now. I lived in St. Augustine for about 25 years prior to moving down.
Oh my gosh! Hey, we gotta first go back to history. You sound like you're a young lad. Where did you grow up?
I grew up just outside of Philadelphia, southwest Philadelphia suburbs, close enough to the old Vet Stadium that when the Phillies finally won in 1980, my window shattered from the roar. But that's where I grew up, went to school, and spent most of my summers on the Jersey Shore, a little place called Long Beach Island.
Oh, my gosh. When you say the Phillies finally won, it sounds like there's a story behind that.
Well, back in 1980, I don't think they had won for a long, long time. It was kind of it was getting out there. I mean, I was only, let's see, I was in 1980, I would have been 12. So I didn't know the story about it, but it was a big deal.
Yeah, no kidding.
And like I said, it was close. It was close enough. The windows open. I could hear the word stadium through my window. So.
Well, Philadelphia is one of those cities that is just so pro sports. I mean, my gosh, it doesn't matter if it's hockey, if it's basketball or baseball. It's just these guys are really, really on it, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. They take everything very seriously, and they're the fans that infamously booed Santa Claus when he didn't support the team properly. So,
I never heard that.
I can't do the story justice. You'd have to look it up, but it is a fact. Yes, they booed Santa Claus.
I think that might have been the year that he didn't show up at my house, so I feel bad about that.
Yeah. So,
hey, Bob.
But yeah, no, that's where I grew up, and then summers on the Jersey Shore. I was an ocean lifeguard there for 5 or 6 years, and as an interesting side story, my home beach was the beach where the first shark attack that Jaws was based on.
Really?
There was a series of 5 shark attacks along the Jersey Shore in either 1912 or 1916, and that was kind of the impetus for Jaws. And the first one was literally the beach, and we swam a half mile out and back every morning, and this thing took place about 100 yards out, so it was well beyond and back.
Did you see any fins?
Rarely, never really saw any of the big ones, but there's always sharks out there.
Well, they kind of rule the ocean. We're invading their space, right?
Yeah, it's their living room. You're going into it, so you can't really get upset. But yeah, we just stay on the look and bring them in when you see it, and hopefully they swim away, and then you can go back out.
Hey, Bob wants to say something. He's got his hair pointed up in the middle. He looks just like a shark fin. Here, Bob.
So that always brings me to that fact of more people get struck by lightning than attacked by sharks.
Yep.
But that's because there's more people on land.
Well, yeah, and that's because people continue to play golf while they're lightning out. But anyway, I've never done that.
Anytime I play golf, the people I'm with always hope I get struck by lightning, even if it's a beautiful day. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway. So Bruce, how did you end up down here in the beautiful state of Florida?
Well, the truth is, I followed a girl.
That's not an unusual story.
Yeah, we met. We came down. We came down, got married, started a family, and moved on. But the kids are doing well. My son is following in our footsteps. He's my oldest son. He is with the Beach Patrol. He's also an EMT, and I think he's got some sort of license with the fire patrol. So he's Mitch Buchanan. My youngest son is just graduated from FSU, and he's going on to dental school. And then my oldest is my daughter. She's a traveling nurse. She just moved back to Cocoa with her husband to hopefully settle and kind of stay in the area. It'd be nice to see her more.
Gosh, it sounds like you have a beautiful family. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob just pulled up a picture of you. Let me see it again. Holy moly. That's a 31-inch waist and a 48-inch chest. Congratulations. Who is that?
That's Mitch Buchanan.
Mitch Buchanan?
Yeah, that's from...
Oh, my God.
That's Baywatch.
I have to apologize.
David Hasselhoff back in the day.
I have to apologize for my friend here, Bruce. He's cruising the internet as we're trying to do this interview. Bob, what are you doing over there? Come on.
I'm just trying to raise the entertainment.
Yeah, we're in the entertainment business. Gosh darn it. You know what? We're in the renewable energy business, and Bruce, you are one of our best customers. We want to thank you very much for that.
You are welcome. Yeah, I had you guys back in I had the St. Augustine house. We didn't have solar for the house, but we did have solar for the pool. And you guys were nice enough to come up from Ormond Beach. You were highly recommended, and you put that in, and we never had an issue. So when my wife and I moved down and bought the house in Palm Coast, we decided we want to go Flagler. You were our first call.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us to help you again. It's really special. You know, I don't know if you've been watching the news, but the solar tax credit that we've all been so familiar with and passionate about is getting ready to sunset at the end of this year. So anybody out there that's interested in saving money or protecting their family in case of the hurricane that Grid goes out, now is the time. I hope that didn't sound like a commercial, did it, Bruce?
No, actually, it's truth. And honestly, it was one of the biggest reasons that we did it. From putting the solar on with the cost of the panels, et cetera, I wasn't really saving a lot of money per month. I mean, my electrical for the house, and this was just based on a few months, was somewhere around $350 a month. So with putting the panels on and then the base cost for FPL, we're saving about $50 a month on that. But those tax credits equated to somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000. So that was a huge deal for me.
It's an important element. Well, gosh, I hope you're enjoying it. What are you doing now, Bruce? What's your present position?
Well, I have two things that I'm doing. I met Bob through my home inspection business. He had actually called, and I've been a home inspector since 2017 as kind of a side hustle. So I shut that down during COVID because COVID hit me twice, and it was difficult coming back and then the economy and the housing market. But I just started that back up. And then my other new venture is I am a partner in a business consulting company, and we are focusing right now on cybersecurity and managed services.
Wow.
So, with the new AI, there's a lot more ways for them to get you.
Jeez, I'll bet. It seems to me like to be a home inspector, man, you really have to be familiar with a lot of different aspects, from electricity to plumbing and everything, don't you?
You do. There's I believe it's 120 hours of pre-testing that you have to do before you even qualify, and you have to pass a test on that before you even qualify to then take the state test to actually become a licensed inspector. And it's my son, the ocean rescue, is going through it now because he's got 4 days on, 3 days off, and he said, "Well, I'm not doing anything. I might as well learn something." So he's just started on that now too, and he looked at the class schedule and went, "Wow, that's a lot." So yeah, it's not something you bite off in a week.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm great. I'm glad that your son's getting into it too. Are you also involved in the real estate at all, or how did you get involved in the?
No, I looked into real estate at the time with my previous company back, and then I was selling copiers, etc. And I just the sales again. I wanted to do something different. So when you're doing the inspections, it's kind of a conflict of interest to potentially be involved in any type of sale or fix, etc. So no, I'm just staying on the ancillary part of it. When they need me to come in, we're talking new home purchases for buyers, wind mitigation for hurricane deductions, 4 points for older homes, 4-point inspections. There's mold. There's a lot of different things that can be in this. It just depends on what the house and what the potential client is looking for.
Yeah, that is a great service. You're breaking up just a little bit, Bruce.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, but
let me get a little closer to my Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll work.
Okay, but this mold that's really a big thing, isn't it? Houses get flooded like through the hurricanes and stuff, and you end up with mold. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Well, anytime moisture is a problem anywhere. I mean, even the house that I'm in, I just was doing some repainting, and one of the corners, unless you have rounded corners, the corners are usually reinforced with a metal L. And the one in our house down at the bottom, it was rusting out, so I had to replace it. So yeah, I mean, it's Florida. There's always water. There's always anywhere the mold. If you see it, there's mold remediation, and there's qualified contractors that can do that. So we usually bring them in right away.
It seemed like the real estate people would be using your services quite a bit because people want to make sure a house they're moving into is in good shape, right?
Well, I mean, pretty much most housing contracts now also say subject to inspection, because if you're going to buy a house, you're going to walk through and you're looking for the things you like, and there's certain things you're just not going to know to look for. So it's just the last out for that homeowner to say, well, wait a minute, I wasn't aware it needed this.
Yeah.
For example, a roof actuarially in Florida, a normal shingle roof has anywhere from a 15 to 20 year life expectancy. So if the roof is, say, 16 years old, the roof may be structurally sound, but you need to know the age because you may have issues getting insurance on it, because the insurance companies don't want to take that risk. So they may require you to replace the roof prior to getting insurance, which affects the sale. So these are things you got to know.
Boy, that is interesting, Bruce. I don't know if Bob had a chance to mention to you, but we've got a special program that includes a new roof plus solar, and it really is taken off. Yeah, it's just taken off because in many cases, in fact, we just did a case study for a lady yesterday. She was paying $200 for her electric bill, and when we put solar in along with the roofing thing, she pays $200 just the same as she did, but she gets the roof included with it. So it's just amazing.
And her electric goes to nothing. Yeah, I mean, with my solar, I think I make probably. I didn't have a base electric bill for about the first 3 months of this year, based on last year with the solar.
Wow, that had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, with the roof, etc. The cost to put the solar on is included, but the cost to take it off and then put it back on with a new roof, that's extra. So you need to know the situation with that roof prior to making that decision. And what Bob showed me was a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, that's great. Bob, what can you tell us about that?
So, it was a process that Bill and I were talking through, and because of my finance background, we really just ran through the numbers and figured out that, roofs normally only have a 5 to 7 year term on them, but if you increase the term a little bit and kind of tie it in with solar, that you can have a monthly payment that's really low. Then you can have the solar system, which will offset $200 to $250 to, in your case, $350 on a monthly basis. So designing the system is important, and then you combine those things with the energy offset, and that actually leaves you with a payment that is often much less than what the just the roof payment would be under standard terms.
Good explanation, Bob. And yeah, what we're finding, and the reason we really developed this program is, with some of the insurance companies requiring replacement of the roof, sometimes prior to the life of the roof being up, it really put people in a bad position because they didn't have the money to be able to afford the new roof. So we thought, well, how can we do something where it's not going to be injurious to their budget? And this is a program that really I think is important for people to know about. And Bruce, thank you for understanding that and getting it. And hopefully you can share that with some of your clients.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and part of my previous life we talked about the copiers, et cetera. I was heavily involved in the leasing, so a lot of it was, working backwards with budget. what are you paying now for this? What are you paying for something that we're going to encompass and take away? So here's your total budget. If we work backwards from this and we can do it for that money or less, it's essentially a no-brainer. And, it makes a lot of sense. The biggest thing, too, is that what you're not touching is even a roof that's 10 years old has inherent problems. They just age. There's nothing that, the roof isn't going to fall in. You're not going to get water. But if you're considering the solar and you can get the roof done at the same time, we get in, we look at the underside, we see where the issues are, and they can fix those little issues, and then you're set for the next 20 years.
Oh, man. You're a tremendous resource. Tremendous resource, Bruce. Folks, we're going to have to take a short break. So please stay with us. When we go right back, we'll talk to Bruce. We'll learn more about what he does to help the people in his area. Right back with you. Hi folks, Bill Gallagher with SolarFit here. Have you ever thought about utilizing solar power for your home or business? Well, there's never been a better time to plug into the sun and stop renting electricity. How would you like to let your roof start paying you each month? Give us a call at 445-7606. That's 445-7606. Or visit us at solarfit.com and set yourself free.
SolarFit your life and set yourself free with the sun's free energy.
Hey folks, welcome back to the SolarFit Renewable Energy Show. I'm here with my buddy Bob Harrington.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, Bob, and we're with a good friend, Mr. Bruce Tustin. I hope you caught the first session. If you didn't, please go to our podcast because it's really interesting. Bruce, during the break we were talking about cybersecurity, and man, I'll tell you what, that just sends chills up my back. It's kind of James Bondish. Tell me what cybersecurity is.
Well, cybersecurity is for businesses is essentially the protection of your information while you do business. Okay, with the new AI, and AI is just a tool, it's neither good nor bad, can be used for good and bad. The hackers that use it for bad can now send you things and things that are innocuous and then take control. And essentially, what used to be when you got hacked, they'd lock you down, they demand money, and the work way around it would be to back things up, and you'd back things up for a half a day, maybe a couple days, and you're fine. Now they're smarter. So now what they do is they get everything in, and they sit on it for 6 months, sometimes up to a year, and fully integrate into your system. So now your options to go backwards are to lose a year's worth of data, which most companies simply can't afford. So what AI or what cybersecurity is going to do is it's going to monitor all of these access points. It's going to throw up red flags. If you download something that has allowed something in that shouldn't be, we need to get that out of there. It's going to make sure you're you logging in and somebody hasn't hacked your password. There's things like two-factor authentication where you log in and something pops up on your cell phone that said, hey, is this you? You plug in a number, it says yes, and away you go. These are what cybersecurity does. So it allows businesses to work cleanly and smartly without the excess worry of how am I going to get shut down tomorrow. You've heard of all these hacks and the anonymous, et cetera, and they're holding them for 8,000 Bitcoin or whatever they want, depending on the size of the company. That's what it presents.
Boy, that's a challenge that we need to be aware of and overcome ahead of time, don't we?
It is. I mean, look, to a different degree, and when everybody asks me this question, unfortunately the answer is it depends. It depends on the type of business you have. It depends on how much interaction you're doing on the web. It depends on how much either personal or business information you have on your clients. It depends on what your risk factor is. So you may not need the full Fort Knox version of this. You might deal with, a halfway version of it. If you don't take credit cards and you don't store personal information from a client, you don't need to protect them because you don't have anything. So but it's information that everybody should know about. Okay, we're a surfing community, so the best analogy I can give for the surfers out there is you're out surfing, there's set waves coming. You have two choices. You can paddle out into the lineup, choose your line, and ride the wave to the shore, or you can sit in the impact zone and get dragged in by your leash. Either way, you're going to shore. It's really just a question of how do you want to do it. So our job is to give you the information, tell you this is where it is, here's your vulnerabilities, here's what we can do to fix them, and then it's your job as the client to say, this is what I want to do, and we go from there. And we're good right now is fully acceptable answer.
Man, that is super. That is super interesting. What's the name of your company?
It's Teknovate Consulting Partners with a TEK. The website is teknovatecp.com for teknovateconsultingpartners.com.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a good opportunity for people in business to protect their businesses.
Oh, absolutely. And the nice thing about it is the first part and the first two stages of this are absolutely free. We have software where we can take a vulnerability assessment of where you sit right now, report it back to you, and say, here are your vulnerabilities. Would you like to assess them? And all through that, there's simply no cost to you. I mean, I'll give a primary example of where we are right now. I'm sure most people have heard that Windows 10 is sunsetting in October. Okay, what that means is Windows 10 is no longer, or Microsoft is no longer going to do any updates for Windows 10. So any new attacks, new loopholes, new problems that come up after that point, Windows 10 is just going to be vulnerable. So for anybody that has, a network where if we're taking care of your network, for example, we're going to have to upgrade you to Windows 11. The problem is that not all computers, depending on the capability of the computer when you bought it, is capable of upgrading to Windows 11. Windows 11 takes a lot more computing power than Windows 10 did, so if you bought a lower-end computer, which is absolutely fine, it just may not be capable of handling Windows 11. That being the case, you need to know now that you need to budget for a new computer there. If you're just going to upgrade to Windows 11, I don't believe there's any cost with that. You just upgrade your license and away you go. But if you need, say, 5 computers, with the cost of computers nowadays, depending on what you need, it's something that you need to be budgeted for. I would rather know in July and August as opposed to, hey, it's Halloween and I got to buy something tomorrow.
Good advice. Good advice, Bob. What's your good advice?
My good advice is, make sure that you're secure, but also I was more excited when we were having lunch about the automation. Right, being able to take documents and pre-fill them or fill them out with a data, one data entry. It's not like going to the doctor. I know everybody's experienced this, where you go in and they go, page 1, what's your name, address, and phone number. Page 2, what's your name, address, and phone number. Page 3, what's your name, address, and phone number, and date of birth. Right, so entering that information once. Is I can see where businesses would be much more efficient.
Sure.
So Bruce,
and an easier way on this too, and this is simply part of it, but everybody has accounts payable, and in a lot of cases you've got an invoice that comes in, you have your accounts payable clerk manually enters the invoice, sets it up for payment, and then calls you, Bill, or Kim, your daughter, and says, hey, can I pay this? And that's for a smaller company, that's a normal process. With this type of software, the person takes the invoice, scans it in. The software reads the invoice, knows where everything is. It learns. It's not instantaneous. It learns over a couple processes of this. But after it gets up to speed, it knows exactly what's being invoiced, what the inventory is, if anything's back ordered, sets it up, talks to QuickBooks, and then depending on the payment and the rules you set, for example, if we're handling your MSP and we're charging you X per month, you can say anything from Teknovate Consulting Partners at this level or below automatically pay. If anything for anybody is over $250, so-and-so needs to review. If it's over $1,000, both these people need to review. And then they get the instructions. It comes up. It flashes on their screen. Could you please approve? They approve or they don't. If they approve it, it sets it up, and now everything's set to pay, and it takes a lot of the human interaction and the human error out of the process.
Oh, that is super cool. So what Bob, what are you and I going to do now? I mean, this is so automated.
Right. Hey, AI is getting rid of your lawyers, your accountants, pretty much all your processing.
Oh my
people.
gosh, we hate to see that. Hey,
well, I disagree. It's not getting. It's getting rid of the need for redundancy, because what it does is it allows efficiency. it's never going. By no means would I say get rid of your lawyers, et cetera. You still need people to evaluate, and by no means would we go into any company and say, hey, you can fire these 3 people. It's not that. It's, we're running into situations where companies, hey, this person's retiring. Well, you have somebody behind them, and then you have to go hire that new person. Well, with this, you wouldn't have to hire the new person. Wow. You're just making the people you have that much more efficient, so you don't need to. The biggest cost to expansion, again, is human capital. So you don't have that cost, so it allows you to do more with less. It's a tool. That's all it is.
Hey, Bruce, got a question for you.
Sure.
Regarding utility rates, do you think they're going to stay the same or go down or go up? What's your feeling?
Everything I'm hearing, I think utility rates are probably going to go up. The cost of everything, just a general economic expansion right now, the cost of everything is going up. Unless interest rates come down, the cost of transportation, of base materials, et cetera. So I would think there's just going to be a general cost factor of, a general cost factor of X going into it. We talked about copiers while we were in the break, and in the past 4 years, copiers went up about 20%. And it had nothing to do with tariffs. It had everything to do with cost of interest, cost of gas, cost of transporting things, et cetera, and getting them into place.
Right, for sure. Well, I guess the reason I asked that is with AI coming on board, we're going to need so much more electricity. We have been fortunate to be able to put almost 80% of the electricity on the grid coming from renewable energy last year. Mm-hmm. And by kind of circumventing that and going back to more conventional fuel sources that have yet to be built, it's going to drive the price up. From everything I'm understanding, it's going to drive the price of electricity very high. I know that our local utilities asked for a $9 billion increase with a B. That's, I don't know, Bob, is that what you make about a week?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, it's a big number. So,
yeah,
I think the thing is that we just need to use all energy sources to produce as much as we can right now, because we're going to be at a deficit if we don't include all sources. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. I can't tell you how how comforting it is just not to have to worry about it. Hey, the grandkids are over and there's 4 TVs on and 3 fans and this and that and the other. And while we don't want to be wasteful, et cetera, it doesn't affect my bill at all.
Yeah.
So, the peace of mind of having the solar on this house is, I can't list it.
Well, thank you for that, Bruce. I think it's just something that eventually people are going to have to do, because there's no real way to budget these increases. I say, well, if you have a 6 or 8% increase over 2 years in your utility bill, where's the money coming from to pay that? Well, you can ask your boss for a raise, and don't even get any ideas, Bob. I know what you're thinking. or you can get another job, or maybe cut back on medicine or food. It's just a measure of economics. We either take the position that we're going to own it, or we're going to be renting it. But again, that's just me.
No, I don't. And that's one of the reasons we've done what we've done here, is simply for that measure. And it also offset a lot. It allows me to heat the pool right now, albeit inefficiently, with an electric heater, before I can put in the propane gas heater, et cetera. But I was telling Bob, the only reason that we didn't have you put a solar heater for the pool on this roof is we ran out of roof space. I just don't have the room for any more.
Well,
based on the consumption of the house. So
we appreciate you so much, Bruce. We're almost out of time here. I want to thank you again for coming on, Bob. Thank you for popping in for this interview as well. Bruce, one more time, how can they reach you? Is a good phone number to reach you for a business?
So for the home inspection, right now I'm using my personal cell phone for that. We're getting all that set up actually through Teknovate. That number is 904-814-7791. That's tridentinspections.net. And then for the AI cybersecurity aspect of it, that is Teknovate Consulting Partners. And that number is 855-835-2267.
Okay,
That's
beautiful.
TechnoCP if you're spelling it out
Beautiful, Bruce. Well, folks, that's it for today. We're going to have to leave you here, but please follow Daniel this weekend up at Dover, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.